This is the Dr. Katherine Albrecht Show.
Raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hand to encourage them. Wave your hand to encourage them. As they march into the palaces of the high and mighty. I, the Lord, have dedicated these soldiers for this task. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger. And they will rejoice when I am exalted.
Hello, good afternoon. Dr. Katherine Albrecht here with you. It is my delight to welcome a guest. You know, the intro song on here talks about calling mighty warriors. I have a mighty warrior who is with me today, Kevin Sorbo. He is a distinguished actor, producer, and director. You may know him from his iconic work in Hercules, the television series, The Legendary Journeys, and you may be more likely to know him through his work in the movie God's Not Dead, where he played the professor who, at the end of his life, actually found God. So it's my delight to welcome Kevin Sorbo. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, it's good to be back. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. You were last on my program in 2011, back before you had transitioned, I guess, into doing faith-based films before God's Not Dead came out. And I remember us having a conversation about your work in Hercules, your work voicing various video games, and all of the things that you'd been involved in. And now you've made a pretty substantial transition. I think every single person in my listening audience and on YouTube viewing this is familiar with your face from God's Not Dead. So tell us a little bit about, from 2011, how you got to do God's Not Dead. How did that project come up for you?
Well, I got to backtrack a little bit on it. I actually did a movie back in 2007 called Avenging Angels, a Western. And I think that was really my sort of first faith-based movie. And then in 2010, I did a movie with Dallas Jenkins called What If? And that's the same guys who wrote God's Not Dead. In my book, What If is a far better movie. So I'm hoping people, even though that movie is back in 2010, I hope people watch What If. I mean, I've done close to 100 movies, and I would still put that one in my top 3. There's no question about it. So now I'm going to go back a little earlier. When I look at Hercules, even though it was a mythological show, they actually, the writers at that time, put a lot of good moral values in that show, which I thought was great, and it was easily reinforced by the fan letters that were coming in. And it was pretty neat that way. But I've always been a Christian. I've always wanted to do movies that I've been doing now, but God's Not Dead certainly, for whatever reasons, became a massive hit. That's the trouble with independent movies. You know, we don't have a $100 million advertising budget for a $3 million movie, so we need word of mouth, and God's Not Dead got that word of mouth. But we need that for all movies that come out in that world, because we have to compete with the horrible stuff Hollywood is doing out there. So, you know, since then, since God's Not Dead, I did Let There Be Light, Abel's Field, Miracle in East Texas, Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, based on the Left Behind books from Jerry Jenkins and Tim LaHaye, and Jerry Jenkins is, of course, Dallas's father. And so I've been very blessed and very lucky to keep doing the movies I've been doing. And I got to throw out there, October 2nd, I have a new movie coming out called The Flood. We've already finished filming it. They're in post-production. And it's called The Flood, The End of Mankind. And I played Noah in the movie. My wife played my wife in the movie as well.
Fantastic. Now, your wife, Sam Sorbo, is also a radio host. Sam and I've been a guest on her program, and
Sure.
you and your wife and I go way back. So, but I'm sure our listeners are wondering. So I'll back up. So the reason you were on my program in 2011 is I was working, or you were working, we were both working with a PR firm, and they had sent over a number of names of people working in Hollywood who were Christians working in that fairly hostile environment. And you came on the program to talk about your experiences with that. Let me go back to when you first started acting as a Christian. And can you tell me how things, just as a Christian in Hollywood, have evolved for you from the very beginning all the way through 2011 when we spoke, and then now with God's Not Dead and your new projects coming out?
Well, in 1986, after my college years in Minnesota, I moved out to LA to pursue the actor's dream, and I never felt that sort of hostility towards it. I mean, people knew I was a Christian. If it came up, we talked about it. It came up that I was conservative. It was no big deal, even though Hollywood was very, very liberal. But things had shifted drastically over the last 25, 30 years. I mean, it's gotten crazy to the point now that it's, I really think it started during Obama's presidency. I mean, here's a guy that said, once I'm elected, I'm going to fundamentally transform America, and I think he certainly did. I mean, I never even thought about racism until he got in office, when he made it such a focal point for everything. And a lot of my friends felt the same way. And the hostility in Hollywood really flipped. And I think around 2012 is when it really started going a different direction. And it was strange to sit there and have this kickback when there was no kickback prior to that. I mean, I never felt that in New Zealand, filming Hercules for 7 years, even though New Zealand is very, I think them in Australia, I think per capita have the highest percentage of atheists in the world. That's not much of religious countries in either of those places. And but I never got, people never gave me a hard time, but things definitely changed in I'd say around 2014, 2015, my agent and manager called me into their office, said they can't work with me anymore because none of the studios want to work with me or the networks. And I said, well, why? Well, it's because, Christian and conservative, the things that you're saying on the internet. I go, oh, you mean the truth. You guys are having problems with the truth. And we see that more and more right now because that is a fact. They have problems with the truth. They live in their lies. They live in their darkness. They live in their anger. And you can see the work of I like how demonic work, whether it's in the bubble of Hollywood or the bubble of Washington, D.C. I mean, if you look, I was blown away during Trump's inauguration, the State of the Union speech, when the liberals in that Democrat body couldn't even stand up for people that have been killed by illegal aliens, people that have done. I mean, I looked at that and I said, Jesus could walk in there right now and the Democrats wouldn't even stand up and applaud for Jesus. I mean, it is an unbelievably hateful, murderous, treacherous world we live in right now. And I'm going to keep making the movies I do because we're supposed to shine light on the darkness out there. So I'm going to keep on fighting a good fight. My wife and I formed Sorbo Studios. Please go to sorbostudios.com and see the work that we're doing. And more independent production companies are coming out doing movies that Hollywood used to do, movies that have love and hope and faith and laughter and redemption in them. And Hollywood still wants to keep making these movies that have so much violence, so much sex, so much hate, so much murder, and you can see the effect it's done. And couple that with our public education and university system over the last 25 years, and you see where we are not right now, especially with people under the ages of 35 and younger. They're just lost souls filled with nothing but hate and anger. Thank God there's a group out there, including my kids, that are fighting back within that age group to say, guys, wake up, get to the point of realizing there's a better way to live your life out there.
Wow. So I agree with you entirely. One of the statistics that I saw that I wanted to talk to you about is that wholesome family fare, I guess those G-rated movies, the movies that were around in the early days of the movies all the way through when we were growing up, those movies actually do better at the box office than the shoot 'em up slasher, horror, gothic, occult-based horror movies that are out there. And yet Hollywood continues making those kind of movies, things, really awful, Pennywise and just hideous things that give people nightmares, whereas actual movies like God's Not Dead or other movies have been incredibly successful because you can take your kids to them and not feel like you have to cover your own eyes in the middle of watching a movie. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it is that those guys continue to produce that ugly fare?
Because they're people that have no faith. They're people that they're atheists, agnostic. They They think that, living life on this planet is all there is, that there's nothing afterwards. Look, every movie is a faith-based movie. If your faith is not to believe in God, if your faith is to believe that there is no God, and you believe in absolutely nothing, that's strong faith to believe in absolutely nothing. And I know people like that, and at least some have remained friends, and we have conversations. Others don't want to talk to me anymore because the left always feels like if they yell really loudly and just say you're wrong, they've won their battle. But it's pretty incredible what's happening out there, and I'm going to keep on fighting the good fight. Like I said, I want to do movies that have a message, and I see more and more people wanting these movies. And look, I get stopped all the time. People say, keep making the movies you're making because I know I can take my kids. And that's
Love what you're doing. All right, super. My guest this hour is Kevin Sorbo, actor and Christian. And I'm Katherine Albrecht. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Look at the birds. Look at the birds. I tell you not to worry about everyday life. I tell you not to worry about everyday life. Can all your worries add a single moment to your life? Look at the birds. Look at the birds. Look at the birds. Look at the birds. And if God cares so wonderfully for wildflowers, He will certainly care for you. And if God cares so wonderfully for wildflowers, He will certainly care for you. Can all your worries Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. Lord will keep your going out and your coming in. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. Lord will keep
And we're back.
your going
Dr.
out.
Katherine Albrecht here with you, visiting with Kevin Sorbo. It is the first time I've had him on the show since 2011. It's great to have him on. And Kevin, before the show, or before the break there, we were talking about just the morals of Hollywood, I suppose. Your experience in 1986, that it was okay to be a Christian. It was not, you didn't feel like you were being censored, and then things began to shift. So what's the climate now?
I think there's a tide. There's a shift in the tide. I think there's a tipping point happening right now. I see more and more kids, especially the ones that really, that got sort of blacklisted out of the last couple of years in junior high and high school, even in college and stuff, where we got lied to during the COVID pandemic. All my conspiracy theories that I was posting on Facebook when they took 4 million followers away from me for telling the truth, never gave me back my Facebook page again, even to this day, which is amazing to me. Because you get a guy like Zuckerberg now trying to cuddle up to Trump since Trump is in office, and the whole time before he was blasting against him and working against voter fraud to make sure he didn't get elected. So it's just the hypocrisy is amazing out there. But everything I said on Facebook was the truth, and it was the truth within 6 months to a year. So I think a lot of those students, a lot of those kids in that age bracket said, wait a minute, we were lied to. And I think one of the blessings of COVID is that 2 million more families really woke up and looked at what the public schools and universities were doing to their children. And they decided, maybe we shouldn't use public schools as a babysitting service anymore. 2 million more families are now homeschooling. And as you know, my wife, we're homeschool advocates, and she travels the country doing her hardest to get people to wake up. So I think that age group is, wow, they're looking at the government now, and they're looking at even Hollywood, and they're looking at the mainstream media with a much more skeptical eye now, which I think is fantastic.
So now, is that being reflected in Hollywood? Are you sensing it there as well, or do you think it's more of a cultural shift out in the world?
It's slowly happening. I get a call from Netflix here about 6 months ago that wanted some of my scripts, some of my family scripts. So they're realizing, they can scream socialism all they want, and the hypocrisy of them cracks me up, because let's face it, we certainly know Amazon and Netflix, their bosses are capitalists, and Hollywood is a capitalist industry. For them to ignore 80 million homes out there that want family fair movies, like the ones you talked about that are G and PG rated, which have always done better. I think if you take the top 100 movies, all of those, the vast majority of those were movies that were more family friendly than they were of the ones of the really, angry and violent types. So they're waking up. It's slow, and it's hard to change them over, but there has been a shift, and it's a good shift. It's got to give it more time. It takes a while to turn that ship.
And we're voting at the box office. We are voting with what we choose to stream. We're voting with the movies that we choose to watch.
Sure.
So I think the public, if you compare, for example, Dirty Harry or Taxi Driver with Star Wars, which one would you want to sit down with a bowl of popcorn and spend an evening watching? Which one is going to leave you walking away feeling, pretty good? And those movies may be, quote, artistic, or they may be, quote, edgy, but they don't have that staying power of, the classics, the movies that you watch and you think, wow, It's a Wonderful Life. Every single Christmas, that movie is still going strong. And that movie is what now? It's like 60, 70 years old. I don't know. It's up there.
Yeah, it was. I said it was like in the early 40s, I think, when it came out. So yeah,
40s. So it's like an 80-year-old movie, and we all know the name of it, and it continues to be a top hit. Or even The Wizard of Oz. There's a lot of classics, and Wizard of Oz is probably PG, a little scary, but we're not talking about a cult and demons and darkness and evisceration and the kind of graphic things that we're seeing these days. So I'm glad to hear you say that it is turning a little bit, that they're reaching out to you and wanting to do more of the kinds of movies that you do. So tell us about some of your other films. Most of the people watching and listening are familiar with God's Not Dead. When I mentioned you were coming on, I have everybody go, Hercules, cool. So you're definitely well known for those iconic roles. Tell us about some of the other films that we should be watching of yours.
Well, I did another one after God's Not Dead called Abel's Field. I highly recommend Abel's Field. It's basically Friday Night Lights means Cain and Abel. And it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. Once again, these independent movies, how do you get them out there? And it's out there. It's streaming somewhere, Actually, a good place to go if you want to go to sorbostudios.com, my wife's and I's site, Sorbo Studios. Sorbo's my last name, studios.com, and you can get an autographed copy there if you want. Abel's Field is great. Let There Be Light did very well, actually, for a little bit movie. We had a little bit of money to promote it, and it was in theaters for about 4 months. In fact, that movie was funded by Sean Hannity, and my wife wrote it. I directed it, and it stayed in theaters for almost 4 months. We opened number 2 per screen average against a $300 million movie.
Wow.
That was Thor Ragnarok. So we're up against Thor Ragnarok with a $100 million advertising budget. We had $1 million, and that's, trust me, that's nothing into Hollywood. These $2 to $3 million movies I do that's catering budget in Pirates of the Caribbean. So
right.
we need all the help we can get. But Abel's Field, I'd recommend that one. I would definitely recommend Let There Be Light. I had 2 more that I directed that came out about a year and a half ago, and that is It was, I'm trying to think of it because they changed the title a couple. Oh, Miracle in East Texas. They changed it a couple times, so my mind went back to the original one. Miracle in East Texas is a true story set in 1930 about the largest oil fund in the history of the world. It is a faith-based movie. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie, and it's a true story. So please check it out, Miracle in East Texas. The other one is Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, and it's based on the next chapter of the Left Behind books by Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins. In fact, I got a call from Jerry Jenkins, and he said it was the best movie ever done of his books, which is quite a compliment coming from Jerry Jenkins. So I hope people will check that out. And I've got a documentary that's out right now, just came out about 2 months ago, and it's called Standing Against the World. And I spent 3 weeks in Oxford, England, with John Lennox. John Lennox is an apologist. If you don't know who he is, you should. He's debated all the great atheists of the world, like Singer and Dawkins and Hitchens. And we shot 3 weeks in Oxford, where he's a retired math professor. We shot 2 weeks in Israel. It's out right now. It's called Standing Against the World. I call it Apologetics for Dummies Like Me. It's a great way to learn how to defend your faith, and it's a wonderful, wonderful one. The other one I did with that same company was out about 4 years ago on Amazon, and that was the #1 Amazon for 5 straight months. That's called Before the Wrath, Dealing with a Second Coming, Before the Wrath. And my latest one with that same company, Ingenuity Films, is coming out in 3 months, and that one deals with the Last Supper, and it's called Eating with the Enemy. I hope people will check those out.
Wow. All right. So the Last Supper, and then your project Noah. Tell us a little bit about the Flood project.
It's going to be a lot better than the Russell Crowe movie, trust me.
I bet.
That came out the same 2014, the same year Gods Not Dead came out. My wife and I got invited to Paramount a lot when we were living in LA. We live in the free state of Florida. We escaped California 7 years ago, but we got invited to the Paramount lot before it came in theaters. And there was a group of about 100 people there. They brought in Pepperdine University professors and things like that. And this movie, if people didn't see it, but if you did see it, if you remember, they made, #1, they hired an atheist director. So the Jewish community of Hollywood hires an atheist director to do the story of Noah from the Old Testament. So that's a head scratcher to begin with. But the producer comes out and he apologizes for the movie. Even we see the movie, he says, now you got to remember, this is the director's, this is his vision of Noah's story. Well, his vision of Noah's story, that Noah was a schizophrenic and an alcoholic, hell-bent on killing himself and his family after the journey finished in the boat. And my wife looked at me halfway through the movie and said, this isn't Noah, this is Waterworld meets Transformers. That's what this is. So,
oh my gosh.
And on the way home, I told her, I said, you wait. They spent like $250 million on this movie. It's going to have a big opening weekend because all the faith-based people are curious, want to hear the story. Russell Crowe, big star. They want to see. I mean, it was a beautiful movie in terms of cinematography, but I said, it'll have a big opening weekend. Word of mouth is going to kill it. I said, it'll drop 60%. She goes, that much? You wait. It dropped 64%. That movie lost $190 million. $190 million. So if people want to see, the trailer's out right now. If they want to see the trailer, go to the Flood, The End of Mankind trailer, and you can see the trailer right now. It's out there right now, and the movie looks pretty amazing. I mean, they're still in production, but they put together their first trailer for it. So
hang on, I'm typing that in. So what am I going to search for? And this is on YouTube?
It should be the Flood, The End of Mankind movie trailer, and it should.
There we go. I got it right here. Perfect. Ah, there it is. Oh wow, it looks fantastic. Wow. So
can you show it?
I can after the break. I will set it up, and
Okay.
we can definitely give it a watch here. It looks fantastic.
Show a little bit of it.
Yeah, it looks great. And I've also got your Sorbo Studios website up. You've got a ton of content up there. I love it.
By the way,
yeah.
My wife and I usually host a trip everywhere to Israel. Last year we went to Greece instead to walk in the footsteps of the Apostle Paul. We're doing Greece again this year. We'd love people to join us. It's September 23rd through October 5, and it's going to be an amazing. We'll spend 3 days in Athens, seeing the Acropolis and things like that. But then we're going to get on a boat this time. We're taking a cruise ship, Celebrity Cruises. We're going to go to Philippi. We're going to Ephesus. We'll go to Crete. We'll go to Mykonos. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing trip. Please join us. I think you'll put this on as a bucket list thing to see. And just once again, it's sorbostudios.com, or then go to Sorbo Cruise, like a boat cruise.com. SorboCruise.com. Get all the information. And it's September 23rd through October 5. And I think you should join us. It's going to be an amazing trip to really get to know the Apostle Paul and the works that he did after Jesus was crucified.
Oh, fantastic. I'm looking at the website here. Depart for Athens, arrival in Corinth excursion. I can't pronounce this. Areopagus Hill, the Acropolis. Wow, this is quite how many days is that?
It
looks like
what's September 23rd through October 5, so it's got to be like 12 days or so.
Yeah, it is.
13 days.
How fun. All right. Well, during this break, I'll go ahead and bring these, get these up so I can toss them up and we can watch the trailer. There
Love
we go.
it. Perfect.
Okay. All right. My guest is Kevin Sorbo. I'm your host, Dr. Katherine Albrecht. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Is your email box overrun with spam? With a StartMail account, you'll never have to give your real email address to a stranger again. Online shopping, newsletter subscriptions, getting that 30% off coupon, they all need your email address. But with StartMail, you can invent new addresses or aliases linked to your inbox behind the scenes and give those out to people while keeping your real address hidden. It's just one more protection from StartMail.com.
Hey, Jack, can you hear me?
Can all your worries at a single moment
when I dwell in the shelter, the shadow of Shaddai, of the Almighty, I'll say my refuge, my fortress, my God in whom I trust, you will deliver me. Every hidden trap that leads disease, you will be my shield, you will cover me. Your arms wrap around me under feathers of majesty. I know that I'm perfectly safe under your wings.
All right, we're back.
Under your wings.
Praising Facing God here on the Dr. Katherine Albrecht Show. My guest this hour, Kevin Sorbo. Delighted to have him with me talking about his projects, talking about working in Hollywood. And I think I've got that. Let me double check. I think. Let's give it a shot. I think I have our trailer here. Kevin, tell us a little bit about the trailer before I play it so we know what we're watching.
The latest movie, it will open on October 2nd, and it's called The Flood, The End of Mankind, and it deals only with the last 3 days before the flood starts to happen, before the rain starts to come. It's not going back to Noah hearing the voice of God and building, because it took years to get this thing all put together. So we're starting just with the last 3 days, and how he is still the laughing stock of the city and the town that he lives in. People think he's just a nut job, and he spends the last 3 days begging and pleading one last time for people to join him on the boat, on the ark. But they just look at him like he's just, you know what, he's been the town fool for so long, they pay no attention to him.
Okay, let's give it a shot here. Okay.
Dear Lord God, I admit I don't understand your ways. I know we are an evil people, but is there no one that can be redeemed? I have done as you commanded me, but they don't listen.
My kids become an elder.
Protect my family. Please keep them safe. They have done as you have desired them to do.
Get out here, Noah!
We don't want your God.
We can drink whenever we want. We can sleep with whoever we want!
The world has become insane.
Is it playing
Hey, Noah, care to make a wager?
I don't gamble.
Mass killings almost every day. Wars everywhere. Rioting every day.
He's lost his mind. His whole family has. They've been bringing animals into that monstrous boat nonstop.
Faith in God is salvation. The ark is salvation.
But salvation will not come through some large boat.
The world is coming to an end, Abner. Only a fool can't see this.
Oh, I can see it. I'm a good person, Noah.
Being a good person is not enough. Being good and being righteous are two different things. I beg that you protect them.
Japheth, where is Noah?
He's still at the village.
What?
There is no God! He has told countless people of an invisible deity that claims to bring water from the sky, killing us all.
I believe God created the universe. He loves all of us, but he is now
Hey, Catherine, you
from a
there?
violent and hateful world he wants to destroy.
And,
Catherine?
Yeah,
will
is it
be.
not playing?
No, the clip's not playing.
Okay, give it a sec.
On our
Just hold on, stay on.
Amen.
Script. I liked the idea of the script because it wasn't your typical Noah type of a movie in terms of, I said, well, so you're going to get a beard put on me and all. He goes, no, we're going to do like they did at the beginning of 10 Commandments, where in that movie Moses was clean shaven for the first 50% of the movie. So he said, I'm not going to do the stereotypical Noah with the big long hair, the big long gray beard. He just said, I'm just going to pick it up and just take it off from there and see what happens with it. But they've got such an amazing crew behind this, and it was pretty neat to be part of. And it's going to be a pretty big movie. I think they got 1,600 screens opening on October 2nd.
1,600 screens. Okay. And what's the rating? Do you know if it's going to be G, PG, R?
It'll probably PG-13. No, it won't be an R. Won't be an R. So PG-13 probably, because it's not really, well, it's probably language, I guess, a little bit and stuff like that. And but I think it's certainly a movie you'll be able to take your 8, 9, 10-year-old kid to. I mean, it's,
absolutely. And I think
yeah.
I've heard being rated G is kind of the kiss of death as well. That a lot of people don't want to go to rated G movies, so PG-13. And the themes here, I mean, we're talking about a flood, we're talking about devastation, we're talking about the end of the world, or at least the world as they knew it.
Yeah.
So what were for you as we go into the theaters in October to see this film, what are the highlights that you enjoyed the most acting?
Well, it doesn't matter what movie I'm doing. If I like the role and I like the movie, I just love being on the set. I've never lost that sort of kid nervousness being on the set. I enjoy it and have fun with it, and I love the camaraderie between the crew and the other actors. And it was just just another one of those great opportunities. I've actually shot 2 other movies besides this one this year, and I've got 3 more lined up. One I'm directing in New Mexico in the fall, called Sunflower Road, and it's a true story. A very touching true story about forgiveness, really, what it comes down to. And I don't want to give too much of it away right now. My wife Sam is actually doing the rewrite of the script. We'll both be starring it as the couple that brought the movie to us. We're playing those real characters, and I'll be directing and starring in it, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Then I've got a movie I'm shooting in Germany this summer. And that one deals with a real motorcycle gang that all became Jesus freaks, for lack of a better way to say it. And I've already met with them through Zooms, of course, and they're typical looking, whatever fear you have of motorcycle gangs from from the 50s and on. But boy, these guys are in love with God, and it's pretty neat. And the script is wonderful.
So do we get to see you in a leather jacket with the brass knuckles and?
No. I'm the American lawyer that they hired to come over and fight for some of the things they were trying to fight for in Germany. So yeah, I'm not a biker in this. In fact, I play a guy that doesn't even want to get on a bike. So it's
okay, yeah. Now, how does that tie in with Germany? That's an interesting connection.
I lived in Munich for a year and a half at one time, so I've done a lot of work there, and I still have some connections there. And this guy that I worked with, a German director years ago here in America, and the director over there is just a fan of the faith-based movies I've done, and he got a hold of me and sent me the script, and I said, this seems pretty cool. And then we set up a couple Zoom meetings with the real-life players, and they're actually going to be in the movie as well. So that's how that happens. It's
so
weird
you're
how things
filming
happen,
it,
but it's a small business. But
you're filming it over there.
In
You're
Germany.
flying into Germany, but it's in English.
It's in English. Yep, it'll be in English. There'll be some sections in the German with subtitles, but with the scenes that I'm in, they'll speak English with me.
Okay, yeah, and it's going to be fun to watch all of these movies coming out. So many faith-based movies. I have been looking for good faith-based movies. So God's Not Dead was a absolutely fantastic movie. I've probably seen it 8 or 9 times, showing it to different people, showing it to my now adult kids.
But I just gave you a good list. So you need to see What If. That was the same writer that did God's Not Dead.
Yeah, so I've got
I'm telling you, What If. Yeah, you got to see it. I'd recommend it. Anybody who's not seen that movie, it's better than God's Not Dead. And the writers don't mind me saying that since they both wrote both those movies.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'll post a list of these movies on my website at Katherine-Albrecht.com so people can go through and find them in the archives of this interview. So let's talk for just 1 second about God's Not Dead. We're going to be coming up on a break here, but I wanted to dive in there.
Sure.
When you decided to play that role, you're playing the role of somebody who is against God. How was that for you?
It's interesting. Pureflix did both those movies, And David A.R. White called me up and he said, look, we got this role. We think you'd be great in it. You might not want to do it. Maybe you might not like the character you got to play. I read the movie and I said, are you kidding me? I said, if this character had no redemption, then I'd say, no, why do it? This guy's going to be a complete jerk, and there's nothing good about his character. Then I said, I wouldn't have done it. But there's redemption for the character. And you can see it sort of his growth throughout the movie, where he's second-guessing the way he's treating people, second-guessing the way he's treating his fiancée. And to me, that's what made me jump in. And I love the debates, because at the time, it's still going on in universities, let's face it, but at the time there was a lot of news about college students that were believers that were being failed on purpose just by these, my joke is I played an atheist college professor, and I go, that's redundant. I played a college professor. We already know they're atheists.
No kidding. All right, Kevin, well,
I dove in, I said, I love this, and the movie turned out great.
Fantastic. No, I loved it too, and I look forward to seeing the other ones. All right, my guest is Kevin Sorbo, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Order 12 hours a day, 12 on.
Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Casting all your care upon him, casting all your worries upon him, for he cares for you. He cares for you. He cares. He cares for you. Stay alert, watch out for your great enemy. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Night watchman, how long till daybreak? Night watchman, how long till daybreak? How long will this night last? How long will this night last? Morning's coming, but for now, it's still night.
Hey, we're back. Final segment with my guest, Kevin Sorbo, actor, director, author. Boy, he's what don't you do? You're involved in so many things. I think, if I can click it up here, I have your website. You won't be able to see it, but our YouTube audience will be able to see it. So let me I'm going to read some of it, and you can tell us what we're looking at. So I'm on the Sorbo Studios website, and we've got you, Kevin Sorbo, Sam Sorbo, Braden Sorbo. Tell us a little bit about your son, Braden.
Well, Braden's been quite busy. He's involved with a lot of social media things. He does a lot of social media work with Dinesh D'Souza, with the Salem Radio. He works with me. He's on his third and fourth books right now. He's just going to be his third book, but it's getting so long, he realized he got to do it in the 2 books now. He just spoke at Trump 47 Club here in West Palm Beach, where we live. He's just, he's just a go-getter. He's an entrepreneur. He's about to get married on July 2nd, actually. So
congratulations.
He's 24 years old, so he's the first of the 3 kids to get married. And the guy just doesn't slow down. He's a fireball, and I love the fact that he's just not afraid to stand up for God, stand up for his country. And he wrote one of his books is called "Embracing Masculinity," not being afraid to stand up to be a man in a world that wants to beat men down. So I'm very proud of him. He's way ahead than I was at that age. Trust me.
I love it, and it's always such a wonderful thing when 2 Christian parents are able to proudly look at their work being carried on and furthered and taken in new directions by a new generation. All right, I'm going back to the website. So we've got your family here, your beautiful family, your beautiful wife, Sam, and you there, your 3 kids. And now I'm just going to jump down a little bit. It says, explore our movies. And for people who are watching on YouTube, you can see this. Miracle in East Texas, a heartwarming comedy drama inspired by 2 events about 2 con men traveling through Oklahoma and Texas trying to strike it rich by selling fraudulent oil well shares. Their scheme takes an unexpected turn and turns out good in the end. So I love that one. We got Let There Be Light. Again, I encourage people to go to sorbostudios.com and you can see these directly there. The Reliant is a post-apocalyptic drama that follows a family struggling to survive in a world where society is collapsed. We've got Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, and then there's even more that we can click on. You can subscribe, and a lot of contents on there. Parent's Guide to Homeschooling by your lovely wife, Sam Sorbo. And just want to encourage people, there is so much content on this website, and I urge you to explore it as well as, watch the movies. I can't wait now that I have my new list of new Christian films to watch. What order, I'm getting a pen here, what order would you recommend me watch them in?
They're all independent movies. You can watch them in any way you want to watch them. And for those of you who still have DVD players like me, you can order in the Sorbo Studio site, and we can get autographed copies of those movies that you just mentioned. So I think you should have my son Braden on your show, actually.
I would love to get Braden on the show. What would be his number 1 topic if he could speak to my listening and viewing audience? What do you think he would want to talk about?
Well, you certainly want to talk about his books, and you talk about maybe the movies he's been in. He's been in about 12 movies himself, and he's in a movie right now called Jesus Freaks that's been out there for a while. He's got the lead in that one, and they had a screening at the National Religious Broadcasters just for last month in Nashville at NRB. And I think people don't know NRB, they should follow it and go. The next year they're going to have it in Washington, D.C. But, by the way, I got to throw out, I am directing a movie this summer as well. I'll be in Washington, D.C. at the Bible Museum, and we're doing Night at the Bible Museum. So ripping off the movie Night at the Museum. And I play a nighttime security officer within there, and at nighttime the biblical characters come to life. So people will get a kick out of this.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna love that. In fact, that Bible Museum, I was once on a flight that got delayed till the next day, and so I had a day to spend in Washington D.C. that I hadn't counted on. And a friend said, "You got to check out the Bible Museum," and I thought, how interesting can that be? It is astonishing. It was so cool. Yeah. What a fun place.
And you can't see it in one day. There's so much stuff to see.
I couldn't. And the part that blew my mind was the room with, that circular room where they have the videos of all the different languages and people and all the translations of the Bible. And of course, we're coming up on the time when everyone on earth will have the Bible in their language. And
Hey, Katherine, I'd be remiss not to mention this since you got a wide audience out there. I've been doing it. I started 2 years ago. I started a thing called Rise Up Con. It's basically like Comic-Con shows where they always had me come to sign Hercules autographs. But this is Rise Up Con. It's going to be in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's right there in next to Dollywood. It's April 9th through 11th, so it's coming up in a month. Please go to you can go to the site there too, riseupcon.com. So it's rise like you're rising, up, con like convention.com. And I'll be there. John Schneider's going to be there. Dean Kane's going to be there. We got Eric Avari's going to be there from The Chosen. So it's vendors that are family-friendly, faith-based. It's the actors are. And Rise Up Con is coming up April 9th. We have a charity golf event raising money for a pro-life organization and also for an adoption agency. So I hope people will show up that want to get down to. It's just outside of Knoxville. You fly to Knoxville and drive 30 minutes south, and it's a big tourist area for sure. With the Dollywood being third straight year ranked as the best amusement park to go to, better than Disneyland, better than Universal. So I hope people come down and come spend a day at Rise Up Con with us.
They've got a countdown on here. I have it up for YouTube viewers. It is, there's your wife, Sam Sorbo, with her books, teaching books. 27 days, 20 hours and 4 minutes, and it's counting down. I love it. Rise Up Tennessee, where fandom becomes faith, April 10th and 11th, 2026. And there's hotels and booking. And yeah, it's all right here. All right. Well, thank you for that. That's a fun one. We could be, it sounds like you have a lot to name. Is all of this on your website at sorbostudios.com?
Yeah. Yep. It's on there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be subscribing to your newsletter and your updates so I can get information about all of these. But I can't wait to watch the movies. That's
Beautiful.
The part that has me super, super excited. So what's your long-term vision?
Clint Eastwood's my hero. I'm going to work into my 90s. I'm not going to stop working. I love doing what I'm doing. I've got so many wonderful scripts we're trying to raise money for all the time. We're always looking for funders, investors that want to get involved in, because we have a spiritual battle as much as we have a cultural battle in America right now, and the world for that matter. And so I want to keep making movies that make a positive impact on people instead of a negative one. So I'm going to keep on plugging along.
And where do you think we are in the timeline of humanity, of the human race?
You know, who knows, right? It feels like the end of time sometimes.
Doesn't it?
When you look at the craziness of the world. I mean, I remember my pastor when I was like 12 years old he said, I want you to read the book of Revelation because it will scare the hell out of you. And I love that term, scare the hell out of you, because I'd rather have the hell scared out of me than the heaven scared out of me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think there are a lot of people saying, how much further can we even go? How much further can the human race actually go? You know, we're talking about transhumanism and merging people with machines, and there's so much darkness. So it's always encouraging.
It's craziness.
Yeah, that you're out there spreading the word, that you're out there giving people an alternative so they can still watch the movies, go to the movies, but get some positive and uplifting content. And to encourage people who might be thinking of going into Hollywood or acting, I have a number of friends who are trying to make it in Hollywood, trying to make it in other cities as actors. What advice would you have for up-and-coming actors who are Christians right now?
Well, good luck. You got to stick to your guns. I mean, you know, let's face it. I've got friends who have sent their kids to university systems. Oh, my kids are grounded in faith. Within 2 years, their kids became indoctrinated in little zombies, believing that America's bad and believing that God doesn't exist. And it doesn't take long to get brainwashed because they feel the pressure from their other students, and from their professors. So to me, you know, there's a lot of places you can go. I mean, if you don't have to go. You know, the place you can live. Atlanta's a good place to live for movies. Nashville's another good place. There's a lot of places you can move to and not be in the world of Hollywood. I left California 7 years ago. I miss the weather and I miss the geography. That's it. I don't miss the traffic. I don't miss the taxes. And I certainly don't miss the anger and hatred of the people within the industry of Hollywood. I don't miss that at all. They're a bunch of little seventh grade mean girls. They really are. The immaturity of these people just blows me away. But anyway, God bless you. Thank you, everything. SorboStudios.com. That's where to go.
Wonderful. I'll post all these links. Kevin, it's been so great talking to you. I look forward to seeing your new upcoming projects and watching your old projects. I can't wait. That's why I'll be spending my weekend doing that. All right. Kevin Sorbo, give my love to your lovely wife, Sam, and we'll have to do this again sometime. Thank you so much. All right. Awesome.
All right.
My guest has been Kevin
care.
Sorbo. I'm your host, Dr. Katherine Albrecht, and I will see you guys again on Monday. God bless you, and you know how to spend your weekend watching these movies as well. Head to sorbostudios.com. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks for listening. God bless you. Bye-bye.